when I would write, it was weird because for the first time ever, I wasn't like, usually my writing approach is like, I'll sing melodies to myself. Like I'll sing kind of like the guitar line or even the piano line or whatever to myself to kind of try to figure out the melody. And so to have like my voice not there, I was like whistling, and I was just trying to get better at guitar and piano and writing poetry a little bit and trying to write words to things that I couldn't like then sing back to myself, which was an interesting experiment.
Amazing. Well, I'm Adam, and this is about you and your journey in music, and we'll talk about the album and how you guys got to where you are now.
Awesome. That sounds great. Let's do it.
Cool. First off, where were you born and raised?
I was born in Norman, Oklahoma, and I was raised in Norman and Oklahoma City, like that kind of area, until I was 15, and my dad and my stepmom moved to Washington, and I moved with them to Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, wow. Okay, so 15. So what was that, like, the beginning of high school?
I guess it would have been, but I only went to school through 7th grade, and then in 8th grade I got my GED. So I think it would have been beginning of high school, but I was already GED'd up.
Oh, wow. GED'd up in 8th grade, at the 8th grade.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that to pursue music, or you just didn't like school?
No, it was because actually because I got an acting role in this like television pilot for Paramount and Hulu. It didn't end up getting picked up, but I was like a lead role in this show, and they wanted me to get the GED so that they could avoid like, otherwise I would have had to be tutored a certain amount of hours every day, and they were like trying to get around that. So they were like, "Do you mind getting a GED?" And I was like, "Nah, it's cool, I'll do that."
Oh,
So
right
I
on.
did it.
Makes
Yeah.
sense, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, what was it like growing up in Oklahoma, or at least for those first 15 years?
Yeah. I mean, I felt angsty. I definitely felt very like all these Republicans, all these Christians, all these, no one understands me and my dyed hair and my loud music. I don't know. I mean, like it was mostly like in school, like one of the first questions you'd always get would be like, what church do you go to? And when you didn't go to church, which I wasn't raised religious, like it was like immediately it was like you were a little devil child. So that was kind of weird. And then I thought when I got to middle school, I got into this magnet like art school that you had to audition to go to and stuff. And so I thought that I'd be like set. I thought I'd be like, everyone will get me, everyone will like me finally because I'm in a band and they'll appreciate me. But like even like the cool art school, like everyone kind of sucked there too, to be honest. I mean, I found my people. I have a lot of people in Oklahoma who I love, for sure.
Yeah.
But I was also really bullied throughout school, for sure. And but yeah, no, the music scene was really cool at first. I mean, we found so many great bands that just treated us like a band, not like a kid band. Broncho, this band called the Boom Bang, a band called El Paso Hot Button, which is it's this guy Mickey Reese who actually makes movies now. He's gotten to make some really cool films. But it was his band before he was like, now I don't know that he's making music anymore. I think he's just directing. But but yeah, the scene was really good to us.
That's awesome.
And yeah, that was
cool. What
cool.
about music? How did you get into music, and what was the first instrument you learned how to play?
I got into music because my dad was constantly playing it, and I don't know, I really also loved music. It was just this thing. It was like when we're in the car, I want music on. When we're at home, I want to be watching music videos. When I'm alone on the playground, I want to be singing to myself. And yeah, I always loved like singing and coming up with melody. And so my dad really tried to like help me learn how to play guitar or something, but I wouldn't get over like building up the calluses. I would just like, I really hated how it felt playing guitar. And I mean, I was tiny, but still, I was like, no, it sucks. And also, I was more like, I like bass more anyway. But my arms couldn't like reach all the way down like a normal size bass. And I didn't know about short scale basses yet.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad had like heard of this thing called a bass guitar, which like Morphine and his other band, the Presidents of the United States of America, they both had their own version of it. And a bass guitar is basically two bass strings on a guitar body. And when you hold, because of the tuning, when you hold the strings down on the same fret anywhere, it makes a chord. And so he made me one of those. And then that kind of evolved into what I play now, which is I added a string and I put it on a short scale bass. So now it's like the Kelli bass guitar, and the only people who play the Kelli bass guitar are other Skating Polly fans and Kelli.
That's rad. So your dad made that for you?
Yeah, he made the first one, just like, because he just knew that, and it's true. Like I liked writing melody, but and so I just started writing these 2-note songs, and then the songs kind of kept getting more and more complicated. And he's always been so supportive and so like, man, if you want an outlet to make art, I'll assist you in any way I can,
Mm-hmm.
like he was like,
He must
"You're
be
into
handy
music?"
too, though, to be able to build that.
Yeah. I mean, making the first one, it wasn't that hard. We had like a really cheap red kid sized guitar, and we just went and bought some bass strings, and you just put the bass strings in place of the guitar strings, and it doesn't sound great. That was the first one. And then the first one broke because it wasn't made, you know what I mean? Like
Meant for that.
it's not like you had to do a lot of building. It was just like replacing the strings.
Oh,
But
got you.
yeah.
I didn't realize the presidents of the United States use that instrument as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, this like the 2-string version. Yeah.
Right. That's cool. And so you start playing this instrument, and are you trying to learn songs, or it sounds like you're writing songs?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm chewing ice. Oh. Sorry, edit around that. Yeah, so pretty much immediately I just started writing songs, just like coming up with melodies and just kind of letting things fall out of my mouth and not really overthinking it. I was just like so excited to have an outlet to like write my own songs to sing.
Mhm.
And it's funny, like still like we learn more covers now because we do like a cover a month for Patreon, but I've never been like a person who just knows how to play a lot of my favorite songs. Like I don't know. It's the way that I've become a better musician has always been by writing increasingly more difficult parts, like writing parts that I can't quite play or sing yet. And that's how I like improve my musicianship generally, not by like learning other people's stuff.
Mhm.
But I've been doing more of that lately, and it's really satisfying
That's
as well.
awesome. Yeah. So were you playing before you had met Peyton? Because you guys are step siblings, correct?
So yes, yeah, we're step siblings. I mean, kind of. I always had instruments in the house. My dad and my mom and Curtis and me used to have little family jams. That was also like the thing, is like there's like this very open, I don't know. My dad had a good philosophy of like, let's just play music for fun, not to like write a song, not to like make it anything, but just for fun. Like, let's just spend like an hour, like, having fun making music, like no pressure. And so I was just well versed in doing that. And I don't know, he just kind of instilled in me like I wasn't a self-conscious child about creating.
Mhm.
So when I met Peyton, and Peyton got really into music, Peyton got really into like 70s punk, especially. Um, and then all of a sudden Peyton, was like, I want to be in a band. And I was like, I've been waiting for this day forever. Come on, let's go. And she's like, dude, you're like 9. I'm not gonna be in a band with you. Like, dude, I'm gonna be in a band with high schoolers. But I wrote the first Skating Polly songs, and I came to Peyton and I was like, but I already wrote songs. Can we use these songs? Can we be in a band now? And then she was like, oh, these are kind of cool songs. So then that's how it started. It's like she put drums to my songs, and then Peyton started writing her own songs. And then I really reluctantly learned how to play drums. I was so against it at first because I couldn't hear melody in drums. And also drums is very much one of those instruments where like you have to be a certain level of good for it to be satisfying, I think. I feel like you can't like, I don't know, like if you know, once I got to a certain level, I really started liking drums. And I now like actually think drums can be so melodic and so satisfying, even though I don't really play them live or anything anymore. But at first that I was like, oh, I'm stuck on the drums again. Once I started kind of challenging myself in that area more though, and to find the melody there, then I started enjoying them a lot more.
Mm. And were you, so the two of you started the band then? Whether at your house, or you guys just practice there, or like what was kind of like after you showed the
Yeah,
songs and she was like, these are
at my
good?
house. But yeah, we knew for a while that we were gonna like be a band, and we always say the first official Skating Polly show was like we had all these friends over for a Halloween party. Like my parents had some of their friends over, and I had a bunch of fourth graders over, and Peyton had a bunch of whatever graders over, and we had all these people at our house. And then we were like, okay, now Skating Polly's gonna play a show. And so we played like, I don't know, 4 songs, however many songs we had, and we always call that like the start of Skating Polly.
That's amazing. You were
2009
in fourth
Halloween.
grade when the band
Yeah.
really like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's wild. And then so the band was going when you moved to Washington then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that a difficult move to make?
Um uh no. I mean, I it wasn't. I mean, honestly, like it's kind of dumb. Like there are still so many great people from the Oklahoma scene who I still super duper love, but we'd kind of reached this point in Oklahoma where like it wasn't like the people that we knew, like our close friends, but it was like the friends of friends that we always thought we were cool with and on the same level, who were becoming really spiteful for us having success. And it was kind of like, oh, they're only successful because they're young girls. You know, that was actually the main complaint. It's like they don't even know their scales, and they're getting to tour, they're getting to open for punk legends, and you know, so we were kind of sick of like the shitty attitude
Mm-hmm.
of Oklahoma. Um, and it wasn't really up to me. I mean, like my dad and Peyton's mom were moving, and I was
Right.
really stoked about it because I mean, we're moving to a blue state. Like, there's like this musical history from Washington State, you know. It's a beautiful part of the country. But then I mean, also like I guess the hard parts were like my mom and my little brothers lived in Oklahoma City still, and you know, it was just weird. It's weird the little things you take for granted when you completely move. It's like now we got to find a new post office, and we got to find a new like what's our breakfast spot, you know, like I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, for sure. With you said the band was already getting success and people were kind of spiteful towards that. When did you start? Were you guys playing a lot of shows and then you'd see more and more people show up, or like what was kind of the first moment like that where you had some success that really kept you guys moving forward?
I don't know what the like I don't know what the
Like a tipping
it's always
point.
hard to like pinpoint tipping points. I mean, I think I mean it was a big deal when I was just talking about this in a different interview, but it was a really big deal when Xtine Cervenka from X came and she flew to Oklahoma to produce our second record. And that record took like maybe 2 years to come out or something, or maybe a year and a half, which
Wow.
felt like ages. It wasn't that long, but um, that was a big deal because it was kind of like we were just this band that recorded in our house to like, oh my God, the lead singer of X is producing us.
Yeah, how did she find you
um,
all?
we met her at a solo show of hers, and we
Oh,
just kind of
wow.
geeked out on her. Yeah, and she just I don't know, there was something about us that made her like actually like ask her. She was asking us questions about skating Polly, and then she was like, how about I just give you my email and you can send me any music you guys record. And she like kept up with us, and when we sent her the first record, she really liked it and asked to do the next one, and we were like, oh, what?
Yeah, for sure.
I guess another tipping point was like Cliff Skurlock from the Flaming Lips got really into our music, and so then we got to open for the Flaming Lips,
Wow.
and like the Flaming Lips are kind of like, they're like, they run the like art scene of the Oklahoma scene. So if you're cool with the Flaming Lips, you know, so it was like, I'm not, Cliff's not even in the band anymore, but that was like a big deal because it just kind of gives you this built-in clout with the Oklahoma. Ooh, you're one of the freaky deaky, you know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I could see that, especially getting validation from a band like Flaming Lips, who have been around forever and
Yeah,
they're huge.
yeah.
Well, you mentioned moving to do a act for a TV show. Was acting always kind of part of your life as well, or like how did that
Um,
mix into the music as well? Like where you're doing
that
both
was
things
kind
kind
of.
of.
I mean, I always liked acting, but I mean, just like living in Oklahoma, I mean, there weren't really a lot of outlets for that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we used to run like improv skits in my house for fun. Like we had like a book of like improv scenarios, and we would just
That's funny.
me and my siblings would do that. But no, I didn't really have an outlet for it. I could have been tried to be in plays when I was in school, but I was honestly so busy with skating poly stuff that I never really did. I took acting classes in school, and that was about the extent of it. And then we I guess another quote unquote tipping point. We got to tour with Kate Nash,
Oh wow.
and yeah, and basically Kate Nash's acting managers saw footage of us and reached out and asked if I had any interest in acting, and I was like, well, sure, that sounds awesome. So I started doing like both self-tape and in-person auditions, and yeah, and that's how the pilot came to be.
Do you still do any
You
acting or miss it at all?
know. Yeah, I mean, I still audition. I and there's been a couple close calls, like on things. I'll get callbacks and stuff, but I mean, I haven't been in anything. No, and auditions are kind of it's weird. It's like they can come. There can be like 3 in a week, or it can be like a few months
Right.
without any. You know. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I do still audition. Or who knows? We'll see. Acting is definitely one of those things that it's kind of like not really up to you how much you get to do it.
Right, right,
It's
right.
like
Oh, you froze there for a second.
Did I freeze? Okay, you back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
I didn't hear
cool.
what you just said. Um, you said acting's the one of those things that you don't get to really choose and then it cut out.
Oh, you don't get to choose how much you do it. It's not really like the ball's kind of in someone else's court. You know, you're
Right.
like waiting around to get picked.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'm still totally down to do acting. I just haven't in a while. And
Yeah.
then the pandemic, and then I had surgery on my voice.
Oh my
I had
gosh.
like on and off complete vocal rest for like 2 years. So it
For
was
two
weird.
years. Whoa. So how did that affect the band? Were you writing still?
Yeah, it was weird. It was like, I guess a year and a half is maybe more accurate.
But
Um,
still, that's a long time.
yeah, I like, I was having trouble with my voice, and no doctors were really taking it that seriously. And I ran into Shirley Manson on the street one day, just walking my dog, and she was walking her dog. And
Oh
like
wow.
Shirley's had like trouble with her voice before, and I'd met Shirley a few times, and she
Hmm.
was like, Kelli, your voice sounds rough. Like, you need to go see my doctor. Like, this isn't normal. Sounds like you damaged it. So I went and saw her doctor, and then her doctor was like, never in my 7 years of practice have I seen anything or whatever. So it was like very like, you can't sing anymore. Like, and this was like January of 2020 when I went in for that appointment.
Uh-huh.
So then it was like I got the go ahead we were set to perform at Sundance Film Festival, and we had 2 songs we were performing. So we did that, and then it was like, then you need to like get surgery, basically. But then the pandemic hit, and then it was like months and months without surgery because it was like only life-threatening surgeries,
Right.
like only surgery. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So
they weren't pushing you
it's
to the
weird.
front of the line for a vocal
Yeah.
fix.
So I was still having issues with it, and then when I finally got my surgery, then it was like, okay, no complete silence. And it was like trying to relearn how to use my voice was really strange. And to answer about writing, yes, I was still writing. I definitely went through big periods of like just being in bed and being wildly depressed, like not leaving bed, doing nothing, just like binge watching like the news, which was not fun.
Oh,
or
wow. It sounds even
Curb
more
Your
depressing.
Enthusiasm. It's like Curb Your Enthusiasm in the news, which makes you such a cynical person. um, Even though Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's a great show.
It is. Good one.
But yeah, and then when I would write, it was weird because for the first time ever, I wasn't like, usually my writing approach is like I'll sing melodies to myself, like I'll sing kind of like the guitar line or even the piano line or whatever to myself to kind of try to figure out the melody. And so to have like my voice not there, I was like whistling, and I was just trying to get better at guitar and piano and writing poetry a little bit, and trying to write words to things that I couldn't like then sing back to myself, which was an interesting experiment.
Yeah. Did any of those songs make the album or any of those poems?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
interesting.
A lot of stuff that I was working on. I mean, I was working on a lot of the stuff that's on the record for sure in the weird period.
Yeah, was it interesting? I mean, when you could finally sing, and then did it work out the way you were thinking on certain songs, or did you have to kind of, you know,
Yeah,
pivot your
actually,
approach?
actually, I was so nervous about my voice. I was so
Yeah.
nervous that I'd sound weaker or that my screams wouldn't sound as tough but I'd worked with so many different vocal coaches and doctors and stuff. And I was so picky about my voice for this record that I really do think it's my strongest vocals ever. I really love my screams on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, like at first there's definitely like less just like out of control for the sake of like, and I don't really want to do that as much anymore. Like there's less vocals where it's like, I'm not scared to hurt myself. I'm just gonna effing go for it. Like I don't really want to make that the pinnacle of skating Polly. Like I'm all about chaos and I'm all about just insanity. But I don't think that destroying yourself has to be the apex of like. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if punk's the right word, but I think it's a lot cooler to make choices for the sake of like being able to keep making your art instead of these like kind of short term like well I'll deal with it tomorrow, which is how I damage my voice, is because I would just go crazy at shows and I'd be like, if I'm hoarse it'll be tomorrow's problem. So I was purposefully kind of trying to write these parts that weren't super strenuous on my voice. And it's funny, it's like there's a song on it that's about to come out called Send a Priest, and it's like a little bit, it's like the screamy song on the record. And even that one, like it's got some really cool gnarly screams, but I think I know how to do it in a way, especially live, that doesn't hurt me. And but that I'm still really happy with how it sounds. And at first I was like, I don't even want to scream. I was like, I don't want to scream on this record. That's not what I'm about. And then we had David Yao come and sing on a song. And after David Yao left the studio, I was like, actually, Brad, I kind of want to go back to that one song. Let me have one more take at it. Because just watching David Yao go into his brain and just doing his improvisational, like amazing vocal, like character, like insanity. I was like, I think I could do another pass. And then I did, and that was the vocals we kept. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, even going into
Yeah.
you guys are on tour now, I would imagine that would be something that would be scary too. Like, is my voice going to go out? I mean, those type of things.
I do have to watch it. Like, I just can't, like sleep really, really impacts it. That's like a big thing with my vocal stamina now. It's just sleep. If I'm like getting less than 8 hours, like even right now, I feel like I have a little bit of a vocal fry. It's just, yeah, it's when I don't sleep as well. So then I try to catch up in the car. And then I don't know. I'm so deliberate about vocal warm-ups and steaming and just trying to think discipline because I want to be able to give all I can give. I don't want
Right.
someone else to have a crappier show because I decided to not, yeah, not prepare the night
Yeah,
before.
not prepare your voice for sure. How you guys are on tour now? How's it? You're in where, Houston or something, or you're playing Houston?
Yeah, we're playing Houston tonight, and we're at a Buc-ee's between Austin and Houston.
Oh, I love Buc-ee's. I moved to
In the car.
Nashville from San Diego a couple of years ago, and that
Oh,
drive, I
cool.
think we ran into about 25 Buc-ee's along the
Yeah, there's
route.
so many.
I mean, it was like that in Dairy Queen, which was an interesting one that I've always seen.
Yeah, Dairy Queen. That's funny.
Well, I appreciate you taking time, and doing this. I know you only have so much downtime during these tours and warm-ups and all that other stuff. So,
Yeah, no, thank you.
thanks for doing this. I have one more quick question. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
I think aspiring artists. I'm trying to think like what feels the most vital right now of advice, like what I would want to hear. No, I really do think there's something to like not worrying too much about technicality or worrying about being a certain level, this or that, or sounding just like like not worrying about recreating your idol's sound and just being you and just like having trust in your own taste and just following inspiration and making things that you like that will always take you farthest. Like if and sometimes it's really hard, like, do I like this, but just I think that's the best muscle to exercise from early on. It's just trying to like not be something else, not try to reach some mark that was set by someone else, but to just create for the sake of creating and enjoying it.